All right, so I just got back from watching Mufasa, The Lion King, the prequel to The Lion King. It is animated in the style of the 2019, I believe, 2019 remake that made a gajillion dollars when that came out. So any movie that makes a gajillion dollars is going to get a follow-up of some kind, and they decided to do a prequel about the origin of Mufasa and Scar and all these other related characters. So I love The Lion King, the original 1994 film. I was kind of raised on that movie. I watched it a bunch when I was little. I thought I loved it. It was my thing. I loved animals. I loved Africa. It was great for me. So I haven't really loved anything Lion King related since. I have not seen the Broadway play. I've heard it's good, but besides that, like the Lion King 2 animated film, I thought was eh. Lion King 1.5, I thought was eh. And then on principle, I did not watch the remake. I just thought it looked real bad, and apparently it was real bad. But because it's the Lion King, and everybody, not just me, everybody loves Lion King, it made a gajillion dollars. So, now that I am reviewing movies, I wanted to, I had to see this one. So, and I probably would have watched this one anyway because it's an original story. Unlike the remake, which is just the exact same story, just worse. This is an original story. So I watched it, and it's not very good. It's okay. I can see that the director, Barry Jenkins, I believe his name is, I can see he's really trying, but I feel like he is limited by the format of the film. And what I mean by that is the animation. They tried to make it like the remake was, live action. And it's not really live action, it's all animated, but it's animated to look very realistic. The lines are supposed to look real. And that was a big issue I had with the remake originally, is that the faces of these lines you can't emote. And not just the emotion, you can't be as creative. The original animated Lion King from 1994 was so lively and bouncy, and the characters were able to jump around and have facial expressions, and they were able to do cool things with the environments. Like, I Just Can't Wait to Be King, that song is all, the colors get all, unrealistic. And the remake from, how long ago was that? 5 years ago? Wanted to be so realistic. And it was just bland and boring. And I feel like this movie tries to be a bit more fantastical with it. The faces of the animals are a bit more emotive than they were in the remake. And the but that's kind of it. He tries to do some interesting camera movements and be a little abstract with dreams and stuff like that, but I can't help thinking, especially when the songs came on, it just gets so static and boring, and I see these animals singing, and it just looks so weird because they look like real lions singing, and they can't, move around and bounce and sing and belt out things like they did in, I Just Can't Wait to Be King. What other songs did they sing? They didn't really move their mouths during Can You Feel the Love Tonight, but you get the idea. Hakuna Matata, there we go. During Hakuna Matata, Be Prepared, all that stuff. They're not moving around as exaggeratedly, as animated as they could have if this was a traditionally 2D or even, more like a CG 3D animated movie like, Frozen or Moana or something like that. But no, they are fixed on this idea that it has to be live action. It has to look realistic, but it still has to be a musical because it's the Lion King. And so whenever the songs come on, it's just so weird. It's just these lions running around singing, and I'm just I can't get over the fact that it just looks wrong. Even though they emote the faces more, it's just not enough. So that is a big barrier for me for enjoying this movie. That being said, the story doesn't really have anything interesting to say either. I do think they do some interesting things with Mufasa and Scar's relationship before they become enemies, but it is very basic. The reason why Scar hates Mufasa is very uninteresting and something that's been done plenty of times before. I was hoping because of the director he would have a more interesting reason why they have such animosity between them in the original movie, but not really. It's just like, oh, I don't want to spoil it, but it's like, oh, okay, this is why they hate each other. Really, this is why he wanted to kill him. Okay. So, and there's other reasons added on, but when Scar makes the turn from being Mufasa's brother to being his enemy, it is, to me, it is so quick and so sudden. It's a lot like Anakin in Revenge of the Sith, where Anakin goes from pretty much a pretty good guy to child murderer in 10 minutes, you know. The same thing kind of happens with Scar here, where he's like, okay, he's fine. I mean, you can see he's a little shady, but he's okay. To, oh my goodness, this guy's evil now. What happened? So, yeah, that also wasn't a great moment. The rest of the movie, it felt really long, and I don't think this movie actually is long. I think it's a little under 2 hours. So, but I just watched Sonic the Hedgehog 3, and I think it's about the same length. I could be wrong, but I think Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is just as long as this movie, but Mufasa felt much, much longer. It was like, well, this movie will never end. The jokes aren't that funny. I think I chuckled a couple times, but unfortunately, where I didn't think the jokes in Sonic the Hedgehog 3 were that funny, it had action to kind of, distract me from that. There's not that much going on here. There's some interesting ideas, but it's not enough to justify this movie's existence for me. This really just felt like a studio wanted to capitalize on a $1 billion movie that came out 5 years ago, and a director that was handcuffed by the restrictions placed upon him by the studio. Like, it has to be animated in this style, and that really hindered him from doing what he wanted to do. That's just speculation on my part. Maybe he really wanted to do it in this style. I don't know. But looking at the types of movies that this guy has made before this one, I really don't think this is his thing. I really would have been interested to see if he was really allowed to make a Lion King movie however he wanted. I don't think this is that movie. But anyway, if you have a family that loves The Lion King and you have little kids that love The Lion King, it's not offensive. They can go and watch it and they probably get a kick out of it. There's songs, and the songs are fine. Lin-Manuel Miranda's done better, but they're okay. But honestly, they would probably enjoy Sonic the Hedgehog 3 more unless they're really big fans of The Lion King. But yeah, so Mufasa, The Lion King, is currently playing in theaters. If you're interested, you can go ahead and check it out.